Back to Indiana Newsdesk. The Army Corps of Engineers is going through one by one and updating the master plans for each of the lakes in Indiana. The plans provide an overview for how each lake should be managed. First up was Lake Monroe. The finished document looks at everything from how recreation trends are shifting because of the state's aging population to how many gallons of water the lake could provide each day. But arguably, a bigger concern to a lot of people is what's not in the plan. Sarah Whitmire reports.
On a hot summer day, this is where a lot of people choose to escape.
So when we get off on Thursday, we pack up and we come out here with the family and we'll enjoy the day at the lake.
Craig Smith has been boating on Lake Monroe since the mid-1980s.
We'll do some jet skiing and skiing. We have a little canoe-looking thing over there that we use to go up and down the lake, and we take this boat out every once in a while, so it's just a lifestyle.
Besides his obvious interest in recreation, there are other aspects of the recently updated Lake Monroe Master Plan on Smith's radar.
And keeping the lake at a safe level is critical, so letting the water out of the dam is important, making sure they don't let too much out and make sure that it doesn't overflow.
And what about invasive species?
You know, the biggest fear is Asian carp. You know, they jump in the air and they can hurt people and stuff, and that's always a fear.
And then there's the water quality. Smith lives just 5 miles from the lake in Bloomington. That means he, just like all of the city's residents, rely on the lake for water. A lot has changed since the lake was built in the 1960s to control flooding in the Salt Creek Valley and along the Ohio River.
So what was written in 1967 really doesn't pertain to today's world, so they just needed something a little more current.
The master plan is a document that guides how the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers manages and conserves the lake's resources. This is the first time it's been updated in nearly 50 years. It has 5 objectives: flood control, water resource, provide low water augmentation to Salt Creek drainage area, recreational use of land and water, and protect and preserve natural resources and habitats.
Well, under the Clean Water Act, we are bound to provide water storage, flood control, with flood control being the most important, and that's how we prioritized. After that, we have the City of Water Supply for Bloomington. After that, you can pretty well put recreation and the other resource goals that we have in any order you want.
The report acknowledges that there is frequently conflict among these objectives because so many different people have an interest in the lake.
I would like to see a much greater emphasis on the lake as the water supply, not just, it seems like the emphasis is really on recreation.
The city of Bloomington withdraws an average of 15 million gallons per day. Eagle Point Golf Resort, Indianapolis Power and Light, and Salt Creek Services have contracts to withdraw water too, but it's a much smaller amount. There's a line in the master plan that says the state of Indiana reserves the right to withdraw more water in the future. That's different than what was in the draft plan, released late last year. It said Indianapolis reserves the right to withdraw water in the future, but currently doesn't do so. McKim took issue with that during one of the public comment meetings, and now the revision makes it clear that the authority rests with the state.
That was a real big stickler for people. They were really worried that we were going to give all the water to Indianapolis and the local people wouldn't have any water. The truth of the matter is that they've never shown any interest in drawing water from the reservoir, and we would have to agree to their request for that withdrawal, and it would have to also fit all of our other management goals for the resources, for clean water, for everything else.
The lake is the largest water source in the state, and the master plan says it's capable of providing water up to 130 million gallons per day to the state of Indiana. But the plan doesn't focus on the quality of that water, and that's been an issue with high levels of disinfectant byproducts in the city's drinking water. The Army Corps says that doesn't fall under their purview. The report states the responsibility for water quality regulation falls to the municipalities that actually draw the water, treat the water, and give it to residents.
Although I don't think this master plan does any harm. I mean, it's not a regulatory document. I really feel like it's kind of a missed opportunity for a community conversation about water and Monroe County's dependence and Bloomington's dependence on on the water of Lake Monroe, and the issues of clean water.
And critics are asking why the Army Corps didn't consider some of the issues that do fall under the agency's purview, such as recreation or erosion, and the impact they might be having on the quality of the water.
It's just an overview. It's not the end-all be-all of what's going to happen on the lake, and people kind of got that idea that things were going to change, and they really aren't.
And then there's the issue of public involvement in creating this new master plan. The open house was held around Christmas time, so a lot of people missed it. They complained, and the Army Corps of Engineers did lengthen that public comment period, but people said it still wasn't enough. Now, the Army Corps of Engineers is working with the same contractor to update all the lake's master plans in the state of Indiana. They're working on one now for Raccoon Lake, and they say it's been a lesson learned. And what they're going to do is extend the public comment period, and then after the draft is ready, they're going to hold another open house to get feedback on that first draft. Joe, back to you.
Thanks, Sarah. Meanwhile, we reached out to the city of Bloomington to learn more about how the Utilities Department is managing water quality. Utility Director Vic Kelson was scheduled to be on this program, but the city press office called to cancel his appearance, citing the director's busy schedule. Kelson told us the city sends water quality reports to its customers and responds quickly to any questions about water quality. He says he's glanced at the master plan a little bit, but hasn't had time to really dig into it. The current version isn't posted on the Army Corps website, but you can find it on our website at WTIUnews.org.